Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the New Herbalist Charlotte channel. Today I want to discuss a very interesting part of the Plato's Republic dialogue number 1, which is a part where Socrates proves wrong an argument about what justice is. And I just have a copy of the selected, well, I don't know if you can see it, selected works of Plato. And so it's interesting because the dialogue takes place between Thrasimacus and Socrates. And Thrasimacus is telling him that justice is nothing else than the advantage of the stronger. He assigns qualities from the just man to the unjust. So Socrates is going to take him by the hand and ask questions that are going to lead him to himself come to a conclusion, which is Socratic dialogue at its best. So basically he's saying that the art of something, the purpose of an art is itself. So in its pure form, justice, it's its own reward. That's what he's saying. So Thrasymachus tells him that there are advantages of being unjust, or apparent advantages, such as being able to take advantage of being in a position of power, take advantage of profiting in a business, advantages that the just person would not be able to participate from because he's not going to take more than his share. He's always going to pay. He's going to pay what he's supposed to pay, and so on and so forth. And we see nowadays a lot of people might agree with that, or maybe not come out and say it, but I behave in such a way. So why is it that behaving justly is actually a better deal? So Socrates says, I am not convinced, neither do I think that injustice is more profitable. It's acting justly, freely, is better than acting unjustly. And he's saying, since its own affair, its own best estate, are surely sufficiently provided for so long as it in no ways fails to be its own art. So in other words, its best state is its reward, like what I was saying earlier. And he's saying that the benefit that it yields is peculiar to itself and not general. So for example, medicine, the goal of medicine is health. The goal of pilot's art, if he calls it that way, is safety at sea, and in other ways that are similar, so on and so forth. So I have to add there that what he's implying by this is that the reward is getting closer to the archetype itself of justice. Archetype, he said, it's a pure idea, the just, the good, the beautiful, and the true. So acting justly, it's its own reward. And for us, we see that in that we feel good when we do the right thing. There's another book called Light on the Path that talks about those gains turning to ashes in the mouth of the fellow, rising above his fellow, especially if it's unjustly gained. There is that inner voice of consciousness that wouldn't, if you have a consciousness which is natural to human beings, it wouldn't feel right. So in itself, acting justly, it already rewards you, making you feel good. He also says something very interesting. The life of the just man is more profitable. In other words, saying that it's better and more desirable to lead a just life. Ultimately, he's going to do better. That's what he's trying to say. So Thrasymachus, and he furthermore says, because Thrasymachus is saying that injustice pays and justice doesn't pay. So Socrates helps him understand that he's assigning qualities to injustice that actually belong to justice. Saying like, oh, the unjust man is intelligent because he takes advantage of the situation, when justice is in fact intelligence. And he says that justice is a virtue, so it's close to virtue and wisdom. Justice implies a noble simplicity and goodness of heart, and injustice is badness of heart. That's how he puts it. The justice is honorable and strong, and in the category of virtue and wisdom. Also, he says that the just man wouldn't even be able to do what the unjust man does. Like, not ultimately, if justice reigns in the just man, he wouldn't be able to go to overreach and go beyond the people and do the things that are unjust and unlike his nature. And that the unjust man is endeavoring to get everything for himself. In other words, self-centered, selfish. So he leads him to the conclusion that the just man turns out to be good and wise. And that is the end of the proof. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I recorded this in one go, just my thoughts and my notes. But I encourage you to check out this magnificent book, The Republic.